I gotta admit, it feels very weird being back in front of the camera again. Everyone, Zoran Rox is here, and man, it's been a while. It's been a while. I've been through a freaking trial and ordeal. I've been through so much these past almost 5 months, right? Since like my last video. I gotta check the date on the last video I published when I said I was gonna make no more videos. I think that was back in January, right? Yes. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I've made a video for this channel. I've literally just finished. I just got out of boot camp like last week. It's almost time for me to go back and do some more stuff. But until I leave town, I was doing what I normally try to do, and that is to catch up on all my movies and my video games that I missed. I would love to make some sort of updated video so I can talk about all that good stuff, but unfortunately, I don't have time to do any of that, you know. I just got to keep rolling with the job that I'm doing now, and hopefully I'll actually get some time to do some of that shit, alright? But first, we're going to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, I'm going to make this pretty quick because apparently my camera's battery sucks now. And for some reason, my camera's taking pictures of my face. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, I only got about 20 minutes to talk for this camera. And I also got to get ready to leave to catch a flight. So, excuse my voice. Damn, I don't even know what the fuck's going on with that. Anyway, like I said, I've been trying to catch up on my movies. I just saw Wonder Woman. That was actually pretty good. And now I see Spider-Man Homecoming, which I'm going to put on par with that. Wonder Woman was very good. I thought Spider-Man Homecoming was very good as well. I'm going to both put them on par. The one time DC and Marvel is going to be on par, you know, one's not higher than the other. I'm going to put them both on par. And I just have to say, Spider-Man Homecoming turned out to be a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Now, I have seen every Spider-Man in theaters, right? Ever since starting with the first Spider-Man back in, was it 2001, right? First Spider-Man came out with Tobey Maguire and shit. Yeah, I seen that. And I seen that in theaters. I seen the second one in theaters and blah, 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 going on from that, okay? So, I have not missed a Spider-Man movie, especially on opening day. Now, I actually seen this movie yesterday. I'm just making the review today. Mostly due to time constraints. And like I said, I'm running on a little bit of a... excuse me, I keep burping here. I'm running on a short amount of time right now, so I'm just going to make this review pretty quick. Tom Holland as the new Spider-Man delivers a very convincing performance of not only Peter Parker, but a pretty funny Spider-Man and the situations that he gets in. His reaction to everything that's going on around him, and him also wanting to be an Avenger as much as possible, just comes off genuine and just plain realistic and totally understandable in every sense of the word. And then you have Robert Downey Jr. in there, who's playing, of course, Tony Stark, Iron Man, who's more of like mentor / father figure to Spider-Man. Now, a lot of people didn't like this relationship and they didn't want this going on, especially during the time of Civil War, where it was hinted at that Iron Man was going to be like his mentor, but I actually think it works out very well here. The relationship between both Tony Stark and Peter Parker comes off very, I guess the word I'm looking for is realistic and genuine. It's sort of how I've never seen Tony Stark will be in a role like this, to where I can understand him being somewhat of a mentor, but him being the sort of mature hero compared to what we've seen in the older movies. He's always was mature, but there was always a childish way about him, and it's still here. But you can see his progression through the movies and him growing up and becoming more of a hero. He's still an egotistical, rich jerk for the most part, but he's a likable, egotistical, rich jerk. Millionaire playboy philanthropist, basically. And it shows here, and it shows how his influence has on Spider-Man. And he's honestly not being very reckless with him, because in the end, he actually does care about Peter Parker, and he doesn't want him to get killed in any sort of way. But of course, you have a villain that comes along who is the fucking Vulture, which I never thought they would make the Vulture as cool as he is, but of course he's played by Michael Keaton, so of course he's gonna be freaking badass. I fucking love Michael Keaton. Seeing Michael Keaton in this role was a little weird for me because besides the founder, I never really seen Michael Keaton as the bad guy. But it's pretty cool watching him, you know, put on a suit again and not be the superhero but the villain, but still sort of have that Batman-ish thing going on. It was so cool seeing that. And then of course you have other minor villains in there. There's only 2 other ones, but it's not as bad as the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where the plot felt convoluted. It was kind of a little too much going in there. There were villains in there, but this is sort of like everybody starting out. The Vulture's just starting out. The Shocker is in here, and I'm not going to tell you how that came to be, but it's pretty interesting how they did that. I kind of like what they did with the Shocker. And then there's also an Easter egg to the Scorpion. I don't know if anybody remembers these 2 villains, the Shocker and Scorpion, but if you're a Spider-Man fan, you know who those 2 villains are. You know who I'm talking about. They're very minor in here. They're kind of downplayed. They're more as like lackeys, if anything. The Scorpion is kind of doing his own thing, but he's not. But he's only showed like once or twice, and he's played by Michael Mando. For all of you who know the video game Far Cry, or have you seen Better Call Saul, you know who Michael Mando is. And so it was nice seeing him in this movie, and hopefully him continuing the role as Scorpion. That'll be so badass. And of course they show why his vendetta is against Spider-Man, but that's like I said, that's a very minor part of the story and a very small side to it. And I'm so glad that they did that, whereas it's different from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they're just kind of throwing all this stuff at you, and you have to take so much of this in, and then there's too many villains going on. And then of course at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, spoilers, the Rhino shows up, and then there's not even much detail paid to him. So it was weird. It was definitely weird how they did that. I'm glad they sort of separated from that, and they didn't put too much where it didn't need to be. Now, as far as the villain, as far as the villain, Vulture, who I already said was played great by Michael Keaton, you understand his dilemma. You see where he's coming from. You see that he's getting screwed by the system, why he doesn't like the Avengers, and why he eventually sees Spider-Man as a threat, but yet there's still some mutual respect between them. Not to give away any part of the movie, but there's a reveal that actually comes later who the Vulture really is and who he's connected to. And I didn't see that coming. I don't know why I didn't see that coming, but I should have saw that coming. I should have said, oh, that's not that big of a surprise, not that big of a reveal, but I actually didn't see it, because at the time you're not thinking about it, and then they throw this little twist at you, and then you say, okay, you know, if I recap some of this stuff, it actually makes sort of sense because of not revealing anything in the movie, not doing any spoilers. There's parts of the movie where it's not shown Michael Keaton's life too much. It's always hinted at, it's always talked about, but they never exactly show too much of his personal life. They just sort of keep the working part of him, and of course the Vulture part of him, his alter ego, more prominent on the screen. But it's definitely more based off of Spider-Man and his sort of issue of trying to get out of being the neighborhood, just being the neighborhood superhero. After his little fight in Civil War, he gets hyped, so he wants to continue doing that. He wants to be part of the Avengers, but he comes to understand he's not fully part of the Avengers, and maybe Tony Stark isn't really respecting him as much as he wants to be respected as a superhero, because he's still a kid. I know Tom Holland has to be like 19 years old, but you know, Peter Parker's like 15 in this world, so that would make sense. The supporting cast is actually, there's a funny character who's his best friend named Ned. He's hilarious. Flash Thompson is in it. Flash is, well, still an asshole, regardless of the comic books and the movies and any rendition he's in. He's still an asshole. I've also noticed there's a lot of diversity in this film. Now, I wasn't going to hint on that, but It's plainly obvious that there's a lot of diversity in this film. There's roles that are changed as far as race or gender in terms of characters that we've seen before, or characters' name changes towards the end. And if you've seen the movie, you'll know who I'm talking about. There's a prominent character that literally has their name changed and their race changed. It's pretty cool because it works out. It doesn't feel forced, like they're just doing this just to please, you know, a new crowd of people or whatever, trying to be so diverse. But I'm not gonna hint on this too much, but I'm just saying I just like the fact that they can do this now, and it shows a progression in time. So yeah, and they actually got good actors to do it. So regardless of whether they change race or gender, if the actors fit the role, they fit the role, and honestly, they did. And it was nice seeing some actors in here that I've actually haven't seen in a long time be prominent in something, and Marvel movies no less. So hopefully they'll get more roles in the future. But overall, I like it. Not to talk too much about it, I think it hits every point as far as the comic books go. There's some nods to the older movies, and and the video games as well. The Ultimate Spider-Man's comic books. It's done very well, and I'm impressed that Sony was able to pull this off, even though Marvel Studios was attached to this. So I'm sure Disney and stuff had a hand in what was written down, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than what I thought I was going to. And Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel hero. Okay, Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel hero. So I already knew I was possibly going to like it, but I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. Tom Holland I think is a very good replacement for Andrew Garfield. He fits more of what we're used to as far as like what the original Peter Parker was supposed to be role. Especially the Amazing Spider-Man, Peter Parker, as far as age and whatnot, his immaturity in the beginning. Of course, he's going to grow up to be the mature Peter Parker that we all know and love. But I've always seen, with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, I've always seen them as like the later Spider-Mans, like when they get a little bit older. This one to me is a more accurate Spider-Man, but I think all of them had their own great addition to the Spider-Man character, and Tom Holland is just another great addition. So I look forward to him continuing the Spider-Man franchise, and it said Spider-Man will return at the end. The cameos were great. The stunt work was fantastic. The visuals, amazing. It's a Spider-Man movie, so it's gonna be a lot of flipping around, a lot of cameras inside buildings, getting shots of Spider-Man flying by. A lot of pullback shots, a lot of zoom in. Actually, there wasn't that much zoom in. There was close-up shots, but there wasn't as much zoom in as it was in like the Amazing Spider-Man and stuff like that. So I was surprised by that. But for the shots that they got and the visuals that they brought to the table, the animations, I thought was very good. It was overall a great movie. I do recommend it, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. You're probably already seen it. You're gonna love it. I thought it was great. I have no doubt I'm gonna see it again. I see every Spider-Man movie at least like 3 or 4 times, so I won't have time to see this one again. Probably not until it gets released on Blu-ray or digital download. But from what I've seen, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. All right, so let's see how much time do I have left here. My camera's taking pictures of me for some reason. I don't know why. I spoke for 14 minutes, so I guess that's enough. Great film. Would so want to see it again if I had the chance to. Same thing with Wonder Woman. I didn't get a chance to review Wonder Woman because by the time it came out, I was still in boot camp. So after officially seeing it, I thought it was great. It's nice to see Wonder Woman put DC back on the tracks. I thought Suicide Squad was pretty good. I liked Suicide Squad last year, or earlier this. When did Suicide Squad came out? I don't remember. Huh. Oh, anyway, there's still a few other movies I have to see. I have not seen Logan. I know I have to see Logan. I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast. I haven't seen John Wick 2 yet. There's so much I gotta catch up on, but unfortunately I have to go back to work. So yeah, that's gonna suck. So I have another month or so without any technology whatsoever, which means not gonna be recording any more videos, at least for right now. So we're gonna go on another hiatus. I do apologize. I would love to be making more videos like this, but I have to do life, man. I have to see where the road takes me, and then hopefully it takes me somewhere where I can actually do these videos in peace. Well, that's it. I'm just gonna go ahead and end this video here. Very nice being in front of the camera. I want to thank you guys for subscribing to my channel and just staying with my videos for this long. It just feels good. I will come back and make more videos. I promise. It may take a while, but I will come back. I always come back. I say that I'll always come back, so I'm definitely gonna try coming back. Oh, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in another one. Don't know when that's gonna be, but hopefully it happens. So catch you guys later.